and the vast savannas, where majestic giraffes roam serenely beneath the blistering sun. An unsettling spectacle emerges, one that disrupts the gentle grace of these towering giants. Before us stands a giraffe, its elegant neck twisted not by natural battle scars or the slow erosion of time, but by an unnatural horror, a festering beehive wedged grotesquely within its flesh. The wound is a nightmarish anomaly, an open sore where honeycomb peeks through torn skin, alive with the relentless buzz of thousands of tiny marauders. Swarms of bees crawl and pulse across the wound's gruesome landscape, their bodies glistening with golden pollen and thick, sticky honey that oozes slowly down the giraffe's mottled hide. This is not just an injury, it is a living, breathing infestation, a dark symbiosis of pain and pestilence. The sight commands a complex wave of revulsion and fascination. The bees have, somehow, colonized an open wound, transforming it into a grotesque fortress of wax and stings. It is as though the giraffe's flesh has become both host and hostage, a grotesque garden cultivated against the animal's will. The hive's contours press and bulge as the bees stretch their waxen limbs, shaping each honeycomb cell with ruthless efficiency. Within these cells, larvae squirm and develop, a strange and sickly cradle embedded deep within the giraffe's epidermis. This living wound throbs with infection, honey fermenting amidst necrotic flesh and blood. To understand this horrific infestation, we must grasp the nature of bees and their intricate relationship with the environment. Typically, bees are tiny engineers of life, pollinators critical to the flowering plants that sustain ecosystems. Yet here, in an unnatural twist, their behaviors have turned predatory and parasitic, with the giraffe's flesh breached, perhaps by a predator, a thorn, or the animal's own frantic scratching. Bees saw an opportunity. Instead of constructing hives in trees, they infiltrated the wound, a damp, warm chamber ideal for their young, but catastrophic for the host. Over days and weeks, the hive multiplies inside the wound, the bees sealing their wax cells to trap honey, larvae, and themselves within this living, grotesque sculpture. As the honey accumulates, it feeds a microbial menagerie. Bacteria and fungi thrive in the shadowy depths of an ancient forest. Where sunlight struggles to pierce the thick canopy, there lives a creature whose suffering tells a grim tale of nature's merciless balance. Here, among the twisted roots and damp foliage, a silverback gorilla moves with a haunting gait, burdened not only by the weight of its immense size, but by the grotesque reality festering on its skin. From a distance, what appears like a dark, swollen tumor is, in truth, a horrific hive, a bastard fruit born of an infestation that twists the natural order into a macabre spectacle. Imagine, if you will, this titan of the jungle trapped in an unholy alliance with one of nature's most notorious architects, the bee. This massive gorilla carries upon its back and shoulders an unnatural beehive, a festering mound of pulsing, itchy agony. The bees have taken up residence not in hollow trees or abandoned nests, but directly upon the animal's flesh. What should serve as a sanctuary for a canopy dweller instead imposes itself 0 centimeters from vital muscle and skin, transforming the poor creature's body into a grotesque house of horrors. From the tiny honey-dripping cells protrude angry, buzzing inhabitants, bees thrumming in rhythm, relentless in their work of expanding and strengthening their organic fortress. This is no ordinary wound. The infestation is a conflagration of pain and biology gone awry. The hive, built patch by patch over what must have started as a small injury, has morphed into a swollen, dark citadel. The gorilla's skin beneath is raw and oozing, scarred with the scratch marks of desperate attempts to rid itself of this relentless plague. Its thick fur is matted with sticky honey and blackened with the dirt and decay of untreated wounds. The stings have left pockets of necrotic tissue where cells have died, creating craters in the flesh that serve as abominable footholds for the hive. Punctures from repeated stings dot the swollen flesh, feeding the hive with a sick symbiosis at the expense of this majestic giant. These, though vital for pollination and the ecosystem at large, can sometimes become deadly invaders when their hives form in unexpected environments. In this instance, the bee infestation on the gorilla illustrates a sinister twist in the web of life. The bees seem to exploit vulnerability, injury, or possibly an abnormality in the gorilla's skin chemistry, turning it into a living scaffold. The biology of these insects revolves around survival and proliferation. Their hive is not designed for animal bodies, but, evidently, will adapt given opportunity. The bees involved are likely a subspecies driven by environmental pressures to colonize unconventional sites. Their waxy, hexagonal cells contort themselves over the gorilla's musculature in a grotesque mimicry of tree hollow hives, while the worker bees venture through the fur as if among branches. What drives such an unnatural infestation? The balance between species sometimes blurs into a battle for dominance or desperation. The gorilla's immune system, normally adept, might be overwhelmed by this dual biological siege. Wound pathogens mingling with invasive insect larvae and relentless stingers. The hive's expansion is relentless. Beneath the placid surface of rural fields and forgotten pastures lies a grotesque yet fascinating tableau: a lone goat, its flesh grotesquely marred by a living, pulsating horror. This is no ordinary wound. It is a hive, a makeshift fortress forged not by nature's usual architects like wasps or hornets, but by bees themselves. Imagine, if you will, a creature meant to embody pastoral tranquility, now serving as unwitting quarry for buzzing invaders that latch onto its skin, carving out a bizarre kingdom amid raw, festering flesh. The sight is macabre, almost surreal, but it starkly illustrates an unsettling phenomenon: the infestation of bees on goats. A dark symbiosis twisted by chance, decay, and neglect. At first glance, the goat appears a victim of conventional trauma, perhaps a battle wound or parasitic attack. But on closer inspection, the truth is far more disturbing. The animal's skin has become a substrate as fertile as any hive tree. The bees, usually hive dwellers with an unyielding loyalty to wood and wall, have transferred their architectural zeal onto living tissue. Clusters of waxen cells, rich with honey and larvae, cling to the animal's wound like morbid jewelry. These grotesque bulges throb with a sickly yellow sheen, and the slow hum of thousands of tiny wings fills the air around the goat, turning it from a simple barnyard inhabitant into a buzzing nightmare. The infestation process begins when a bee colony, typically driven by overpopulation or environmental stressors, seeks out new nesting sites. Wounded or weakened goats offer an unnatural convenience: warm, stationary bodies that provide both shelter and nourishment. These bees, opportunistic and persistent, construct their combs layer by layer, embedding themselves into the wound's tissue. The goat's immune system, overwhelmed and back in the shadowy edges of a dense woodland, something stirs, not the graceful fox you might expect, fluid and sleek through the underbrush, but a creature whose very flesh tells a grim tale. Here lies a fox, ensnared in a nightmare of its own biology, twisted by an invasive force. Its once lustrous coat is ripped and raw, the skin beneath broken, swollen, and oozing from a grotesque hive that has taken root within its body. This is no ordinary wound. It is a cathedral of torment, built by countless bees that have colonized the animal's own flesh, a swirling mass of buzzing life and festering death. As we lean closer, the magnified horror reveals itself in intricate detail. The wounded patch, a ghastly mosaic of amber wax and living black stingers, throbs with the tension of nature's most relentless builders. Bees, tiny architects of pain, have commandeered the fox flesh as a nest, their honeycomb structures embedding deeply beneath fur and skin. Each cell, normally a pristine hexagon of wax, now bristles with larvae squirming in viscous, sickly sweet secretions. The fox's open wounds provide an irresistible invitation. The bees feed on the blood-tinged tissue, while their larvae thrive on the debris of damaged flesh, creating a macabre symbiosis that feeds both parasite and host in the most unsettling way imaginable. This infestation is a peculiar anomaly, an inversion of the usual harmony between species where bees and mammals might coexist. Instead, it is aggression cloaked in biology, one species seizing dominion over another's body, weaving a tapestry of suffering. The fox's natural defenses are overwhelmed. Its immune system battles futilely against the invading swarm, a fierce but losing war that leaves pus and swelling as testament to the violent colonization. The air around the fox hums with the relentless drone of worker bees, defensive yet maddeningly invasive, as they defend their hive with stingers poised like venomous swords, injecting their toxic payload to ward off any perceived threat. Be it predator or human observer, peering into this living nightmare, one must confront